Today I have a little story for you. German highway during the coronavirus, or how Skipper got to a new home. You know, Tom Hanks once said that you can drive on German highways 700 miles per hour. That's not true. You would be able to, but you don't want it because you have lots of ruts and a lot of the part needs to be repaired. So it's no good idea to drive that fast. We have a speed limit from 75 to 90 miles per hour. But to tell you the story we experienced is that we have never seen such an empty highway before. In the first part you see is near Arn. You have lots of ruts and you won't be able to drive more than 100 kilometers there, and even the 100 kilometers are unpleasant. You see it in the shaky footage because my camera shaked a little bit, and that's because of the bad quality of the highway. So, throughout our trip, landscape and weather changed the whole trip, and what you see is 16 hours of German highways compressed in 5 minutes. So, what you see here is we drove home several days before Christmas, and I really had to be careful when filming in Germany because you are not allowed to show any license plates, cards, just a lonely German highway. It's a very unusual picture in Germany because in not corona times you have a lot of traffic congestion and it's never that empty. I've never seen it emptier before in all my life. So that were the first cold days of winter. We had some hoarfrost here and there, and you see lots of different landscapes. This trip is the north-south axis of the highway. Normally it's full of traffic, and this was really an eerie experience. Imagine we were the only car on the first 100 kilometers of our journey. So I think this is a document of its time, and I grabbed my camera and filmed. But now let's come to Skipper. The story behind the whole story is that I bought a little Skipper by the end of November, and the seller did not contact me for 2 weeks, and I did not know if the Skipper would be in time here at my apartment or not. So I let her ship to my parents' house on the other side of Germany. So I gave the seller the address of my mother, and she shipped it to my mother's house, and Skipper arrived there some days before Christmas and some days before I arrived there. But I was not sure if this would fit or not, so I just did it this way. I do it every year around Christmas this way. So usually we take the train, but at the moment we have the duty to wear a mask, and for 8 hours it's really uncomfortable to wear such a mask. So impossible to go by train this last year. So we did a road trip like Justin Scott would have liked it. Now that I'm cutting the video, it's prohibited to meet more than one person, but this was different when I filmed the movie, because then you were allowed to meet with 5 people from 3 families, and as soon as this is ready, this video, it will be allowed again. And all shops were closed, the gas stations were open, drugstores and grocery stores too, optometrists, everything to keep society alive, but all the other stores had to be closed. Had to close because of the coronavirus. Trips around Christmas were allowed for a short while, but after the 11th of January it was prohibited to do private trips. Only business trips were and are still allowed. No private vacation. Hotels are closed for private persons. So the blue signs you see here and there along the highway in the distance show you in the distance the next gas station, motels and places to rest, and so on. By the way, signs for villages and cities are yellow. So, to come back to Skipper, she waited for me at my parents' after the drive of 10 hours, and it was really nice that I had at least one doll in my surrounding after such a long trip. So the day we drove, it was so eerie, and these highways were so empty. I've never seen them before. It was such a crazy situation. I mean, we almost felt lonely on a highway, but at least my Skipper was at my parents' house, and that was something familiar. And it was also good to see my parents again after 6 months. And on our way back, you can see that we got some snow on the highway. It was not the most pleasant drive, but we made it, and after almost 10 hours of driving, we felt a little bit tired and were happy to be back.